Mineski. There was a time when that name held power. They were by far the most dominant team that the SEA region had ever seen. They had won 2 DPC events last season, including a historic victory at the Dota 2 Asia Championships, which saw them become the first ever SEA team to win a major. However, a poor performance at TI8 saw them crash and burn in the 12th place, an underwhelming showing for the talented squad. The 2018-19 season kicked off with the departure of Ice and Jabs, who moved on to Fnatic, currently the most successful SEA team by DPC points. Ninjaboogie too departed from the squad to join another dominant force in the region, TNC Predator. Mineski picked up JT, Kpii and Fnatic as their replacements, hoping to replicate the success they had seen in the previous season. However, things didn't go quite according to plan. Their first attempt of the season was to go through the SEA Qualifiers for the Kuala Lumpur Major. Many expected them to perform well, considering the caliber of the squad they had put together. But Mineski could only manage to finish in a 6th place, therefore failing to qualify for the major. Further disappointment followed shortly after, as the squad failed to qualify for the minor as well. Their last place finish at ESL One Hamburg 2018 was the straw that broke the camel's back. It was clear that Mineski needed a change. The Malaysian duo of Mushi and JT was replaced by Pailai and Ajit. While their performance certainly improved, they were still underwhelming for the most part, as this new roster failed to qualify for the CQ Major and the Bucharest Minor. However, there were signs of improvement towards the later part of the year, with their coordination and drafting steadily improving as they began to occasionally take games off the top dogs of SEA. They closed out 2018 with a couple of LAN victories at the AMD Dota 2 Pro Series in Australia and DreamHack India Invitational 2018, and looked strong heading into the new year. They kicked off 2019 in style by qualifying for their first DPC event of the season, the Stockholm Major. They would then make a pit stop at ESL One Katowice, where they had finished in the middle of the pack before heading into the Stockholm Major LAN event. Here, Mineski put up a good fight, but in the end they were relegated to a 12th place finish. This failure led to the departure of Pailai and Fnatic.
I didn't leave, I got kicked.
Okay, fine, he was kicked, but Mineski brought in the talented and experienced duo of Ninjaboogie and Bimbo to replace them. This new team secured an impressive 2nd place finish at the ESL One Mumbai before finally making their way to the penultimate major of the season, the MDL Disneyland Paris Major. Unfortunately, Mineski disappointed fans once again with another 12th place finish at a Dota 2 Major. The Epicenter Major proved to be more of a disaster, with TNC Predator and Fnatic reclaiming their places at the top of the SEA food chain. This meant that Mineski had to go through the minor qualifiers, win it, and then had to secure a top 6 finish at the major to grab an invite for TI9. And while they got off to a good start by qualifying for the Star Ladder Imba TV Minor Season 2, they could only manage a 6th place finish in that tournament. The dream of being invited to TI9 was dead for them, as now they would have to go through the gauntlet of the qualifiers to make it to the largest tournament of the year. Mineski still felt that there was a final piece missing in their jigsaw puzzle, as they decided to replace Ajit with the Bulgarian pub star Nikobaby in a bid to make their final attempt at a TI9 spot through the SEA qualifiers. The team got off to a rough start in the qualifiers, losing 3 games on day 1, which pushed them to the brink of elimination. They had to win all 3 games on day 2 to keep their TI dreams alive, which they managed to pull off, thus scraping through to the playoffs. Once there, the battle-hardened experience transformed them into a completely different team. They bulldozed their way through into the grand finals relatively unscathed on the back of some impressive performances. However, the grand finals turned out to be a bridge hard to cross. Their opponents, Team Genius Bruce, put up one hell of a fight after having lost to Mineski 2-0 earlier in the playoffs. In fact, they almost made it to TI9 and were inches away from victory in Game 4 of the Grand Finals, where they made an unfortunate fatal error. They forced their advantage a bit too much and went for the throne instead of the barracks. This moment of weakness was all their opponents needed to turn the tables. Pouncing on the mistake, Mineski took control of the game and extended the series as they ended up winning the decisive game to secure the final SEA spot at TI9. Coming into TI9, Mineski will walk into Shanghai as underdogs. They are definitely not the most talented or the strategically sound team heading into the event. However, their never-say-die attitude, coupled with the raw skill that SEA Dota players possess, could work to their advantage. The International is where dreams come true and magic ensues. Mineski may lack the championship-winning caliber that their previous iteration possessed, but what better place is to regain it than at the International? Perhaps, just perhaps, the underdogs will bite back.